Hey everybody, it's Devin Francis, also known as Leonard Meltzner.
And Ren, I changed my YouTube handle. I don't know if you ever noticed that.
I didn't.
Yeah, I changed it.
Nice. And you're watching episode 141 of the Adventures in Odyssey Oddcast. What are we doing today, Victoria?
So we're going to be reviewing Met His Match, which is the OAC episode of the month.
For February.
Yeah, it's the Valentine's Day episode. So to go along with all hearts and lovey-dovey stuff, we're also going to be talking about Wrapped Around Your Finger.
Which came out, I realized earlier tonight when I was copying into the iTunes info.
Your birthday?
No, it came out on Valentine's Day.
Well,
like, precisely on Valentine's Day.
It's almost like they planned that or something.
Well, yeah, but, I mean, like, the day of the week, like, Valentine's Day happened to fall on a Saturday that year, so it's like, wow, that was really perfect. It's not like they can put it, it's not like
they planned it or something.
Well, they can't put it on whatever day of the week they want. Episodes still only came out on Saturday on the radio. The fact that Valentine's Day happened to fall on that in that year is... it's kind of difficult to calculate the chances.
So, Met His Match.
I guess over all time it basically
written
works
by
out to
Kathy
a 14%
Buchanan.
Chance. Episode 839. Written by Kathy. Original title, as she told us in her interview, was Wits Women, which I think is a hilarious title.
Name. So just gonna shoot the elephant in the room right away. This episode has Lily Graham's voice actress in it, who, if you are caught up with Odyssey news and have been for a while, she passed away
last summer.
Last summer. So this was one of those episodes that was recorded before she passed away.
This is the new voice actress.
There. Oh, I thought that was...
No, she sounds completely different in this episode because it's the new voice actress.
It's been a while since I listened to the episode.
No, she sounds very different in this episode. Okay. But, I thought you were going to point out the fact that Mrs. Sutton does not appear in this episode.
She does.
No, it's Mrs. Kramer.
Oh. What? Oh.
Did you not notice?
Dude, I'm like so tired right now.
They have very different personalities and relationships with Wit.
Their voices sound really similar.
Well, that's why we got confused. We thought Mrs. Sutton was in it because there was a social video on Facebook posted during the recording, and it's like, guess who shows up in the episode? And then it's like, hi, Wit. And we're like,
So it never actually said Mrs. Sutton anymore.
No, it just had her voice, but turns out it wasn't. Because I think it is actually Mitzi McCall for both of them.
That's why I was confused.
And I was like, oh, Wit, dating, Mrs. Sutton shows up. This is hilarious, but no, it turns out it's Mrs. Kramer. So it's still funny, but not nearly as funny as if that's what happened. What happens in this episode?
So in this episode... Tinder, but not Tinder, but it's Tinder, is introduced to Odyssey, and Connie signs herself up for it, because she's lonely and wanting for a friend, and then she finds out there's like a 2-for-1 deal, and I'm like, since when is that a thing on
Why
Tinder?
not? Oh, do you have deep, vast experience with Tinder I don't know about?
As a matter of fact... I don't. So, did you actually think I was...
No.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't think so. Well, fine then. Fine. So, she signs Wit up for it? No, she doesn't. She doesn't. She, she's doing her, profile, thank you, with Penny, and then Olivia comes in, and Connie's like, oh, I gotta go, and then they're, trying to submit Connie's profile, and there's just, 2-for-1 deal, and they're like, we should sign Wit up, because he's old and sad, and so then...
Because
they do.
The anniversary is Wit's anniversary.
Yeah, I was just like, wow, that is one of the most insensitive things I've ever heard.
Ew.
You are scum. Yeah, so every single time they're just like, it's your anniversary, you're probably lonely, because Jenny's dead, and I was like, you know nothing about Wit, clearly. Also, Connie, straight up told them, don't do that. And they still went and did it, like, behind her back. And, so then the episode goes along and, like, Penny and Olivia are trying to, like, set Whit up with, like, a couple people. It doesn't really work out, but then they're like, what about Dr. Graham? So then, Dr. Graham and Whit hit it off, and
really well.
And I thought it was, like, the old voice actress for her, because I
Mm-hmm.
guess I forgot what she sounds like.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, this is gonna be really awkward if they actually do hook up, because, yeah. But, because they were playing it, like, really serious, to, like, and even though Kathy clearly said, like, of course Whit doesn't end up with someone in this episode, I was just like, what is this? And then, at the end, they're just like, haha, bazinga! And then it turned out it was all fake. Disclaimer, I hate Big Bang Theory.
It was sort of fake.
And they were like, oh yeah, we're friends, but, like, our disdain for you is stronger than our potential romance. They just get back at Penny and Olivia, and Connie's in on it too. And then she, like, comes out from behind the ceiling or whatever. And she has, like, camouflage paint on her face, and she's like, we got you! And then it turns out Connie has a mustache.
I really appreciate that every single time Connie is on the giving end of one of these lessons, she makes it expressly clear that she's not doing it for the purpose of, like, teaching a lesson to someone. She's doing it
out of spite.
Out of the glee of, like, all the repressed emotions from the years and years of Whit doing it to her, and she finally gets to flip the tables on people.
I mean, like, but it's so relatable, though.
I know. But I just love that
every
single time she does it, she's like, so you know, this isn't because I want to help you grow as a person. This is because I'm angry about what Whit does to me, and I need to take out that aggression on everyone else.
I love Connie. Yeah, since Connie doesn't get, like, any matches at all,
that's what you meant with the mustache.
Yeah, they look at her profile later, and they're like, oh, we were typing, like, Whit and Connie's at the same time, and we wrote, like, I have a luxurious mustache on Connie's instead of putting on Whit's.
And honestly, if there was a guy out there who's looking at that who's like, wow, she has all these great qualities and a mustache, sorry, I can't get with her just because of that one thing. Like, she doesn't need them anyways.
Honestly, I was still kind of surprised that there wasn't at least one person.
I know.
That, like, because that's not how Tinder works, I would say.
But granted, Tinder, I believe, is also based on proximity to you, which means she's only catching the net of Odyssey, which isn't a lot of people.
And I was just like, these Odyssey people are biased jerks.
Yeah. So they try and set her up with Lucia first.
Oh, I forgot about Lucia being in this.
And then Mrs. Kramer.
Oh, him being set up with Lucia is, like, the most disastrous thing ever.
I know, okay, so...
They're just screaming at each other for the entire time and insulting each other, and I'm like, I thought you two were friends in past episodes. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, so we start at the top, and Connie's making her profile, and Penny's helping her out, and Connie's like, I'm tall, and I have brown hair, and I love to plan weddings. And I'm so glad that Penny was like, yeah, I think that's maybe a phrase that you shouldn't put on your dating profile. There's literally no man in the world who would not be terrified by you. It's like putting that at, like... Again,
I'm going to argue there'd be at least a couple who'd be...
Putting the cart way before the horse here. It's a nightmare phrase. So yeah, Connie's sad and alone. Whit is sad and alone because it's his wedding anniversary, which is so sad.
I think I almost cried. And they're like, it's the anniversary of Jenny's death, and he's really upset. And they're like, let's hook him up on a hot date. And I'm like, no, that is the opposite.
I think Penny said something like, oh yeah, Jenny died a little while ago, right? And I was like, yeah, like 34 years ago.
Also, they make another joke about Whit's age in this, I think, at some point.
Then when are they not making jokes about Whit's age? Those are the best jokes to make.
He never says any dates, ever.
I love, throughout this episode, Penny's constantly like, just I want you to find some Connie and Wit, because marriage is really, really, really just it's so great. It's so good. I love being married so much, and Connie's just like
cringing when Penny was saying it. I was like, I don't want to know the details, Penny. Just stop.
Even beyond that, just like she's just like
it.
rubbing it so hard, and Connie's just looking into the camera like she's on The Office. The fact that
Connie's like, we can't be friends anymore.
Connie also put in her profile, she's like, I'm just looking for a nice Christian guy who isn't an FBI agent.
That's like a huge deter, I would say. That makes her sound like a criminal.
It's a good line, because it not only, like, I mean, thank you, Kathy. It's a great line.
That was good.
In canon, because not only does it throw so much shade at Mitch, but to any other random schmo perusing her profile, it just sounds like some quirky joke, and they're not going to think anything about it.
Or they think she's a criminal.
Well, whatever, whatever floats your boat.
I specifically love it, like, any joke about Mitch is amazing to me, because for, like, several reasons. One, it gets to all those Mitch fans that still, for some reason...
Yeah, we just want to stomp down on their hearts.
Still want Mitch and Connie to be together, which does not make any sense, considering he is in a happy relationship and she doesn't want to be with him.
Fan those ship war flames.
Also, it's always written by Kathy, and you can just, like... It's palpable. Just... I don't know what word to describe
the overflowing font of fandom tears from which she drinks daily.
It's glorious. And then just 3, it's really funny. It's super funny.
Oh man. My favorite post-Mitch joke, hands down, is in Something Old, Something New, when Wooten is like, we'll have a not wedding party. We're a party where we don't get married. Connie's like, haha, I've had one of those before. Turns out, not so fun.
There's so many good jokes and, like, Something Old.
The delivery of her line is so passive-aggressive.
You gotta wonder if, like, Katie feels that way, too, at this point. Just like, I'm so over Mitch.
I'm sure everyone is.
Because originally she, like, didn't like Mitch's character, because the other actor was so much younger than she was, who was voicing him.
So, yeah, on the one hand, Mitch joke in Connie's profile, yes, that's a good thing to put in, because it has meaning, but, comes off as, like, a jokey kind of thing, even though it isn't. On the other hand, we have Wit's profile, where she's like, and I occasionally save the world, and I'm like, that's not going to come off as weird at all. It's worded just serious enough that it doesn't come off as jokey, and just kind of leaves you weirded out. And I was like, Penny, that's not a good...
I was, like, cringing when they were reading the dating profiles, like, the entire time. Ugh. I was just like, it was... Yeah, I was just... Yeah.
There's an art to it, and for all we know, we have no reason to believe that Penny has any experience with that.
That's true. That's very true.
Or Olivia, for that matter.
Oh yeah, Olivia should not have been there. She should have been kicked out of the room. I would have been like, child, go dally somewhere else.
While writing the profile, Penny also advocates for mustached Wooten, which does not get my vote for future character arcs. For reference, if you're watching this, Kathy, I don't want that image in my mind.
Imagine, like, Wooten has a mustache, and Wellington wants to go undercover as him again, so then he has to grow a mustache, too.
So, Lucia. So the first person that said Olivia's like, yeah, Wit could be my grandpa, my abuelo. That'll work, sure.
I was like, no.
They brought back Lucia's haircutting business, which hasn't showed up in a hot minute. In Forgiven More or Less, I think, just the once.
Okay, yeah, I thought it was just the one time when it was created.
Come to think of it, that's why she was making so many comments about Matthew's hair in Your Servant is Listening.
You never thought about that before?
I forgot she was a hairdresser. But now I get it. Yeah. I love.
I think I kind of did for that too.
When she gives him the haircut, and then he's just like not. I was like, it was weird at first that he was so rude, and then I realized like, oh, it's because he's sad. And it's like maybe you shouldn't try and set Wit up on anniversaries. Maybe on the anniversary of his wife's death.
Wit up on 3 dates on the day of his anniversary.
Yeah. Did I mess up what I said? Did I say set him up on anniversaries?
I don't know.
Maybe. But yeah, I really love Lucia's like, I don't do quiet haircuts. I just gave him headphones with music and I kept talking. I was like, if that isn't the most grandmother thing I've ever heard before. I'm not gonna stop talking. If you don't want to listen, that's your choice.
No, I can't believe she gave him headphones while like giving him a haircut. Because you have like scissors.
Well, they're probably earbuds. I don't think.
Yeah, it's still earbuds, but with wires.
I think most people do that. Like put headphones in during hairdressing.
Dad gets upset with me every single time he comes into the room, and then he sees me straightening my hair, and I have earbuds in.
Well, yeah, that's Dad.
Like,
I'm saying
you're gonna set your earbuds on. I get the
impression that most people who've done hairdressing professionally in the last 19 years, not in the 90s and the 80s.
That was not when he did hairdressing.
It is. He stopped in 2001.
That's not the 90s.
Yeah. Okay, Victoria. The 80s, the 90s, and then another 2 years.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, Mrs. Kramer, not Mrs. Sutton. Still funny, not nearly as great, because the idea of Mrs. Sutton being such a thirsty hawk that she could... that if Whit posted a dating profile, like, after years and years since she's seen him, it would take her just 3 minutes after not appearing for a decade to realize that he posted it and respond to it. Would be so good, so sweet, delicious comedy nectar.
Can I ask you a favor?
Why did Mrs. Kramer respond to the ad though? Because she knows Whit, and I found it really surprising that Mrs. Kramer would do that. Yes.
Can I ask you to do something for me?
Yes.
Never use the phrase "thirsty hawk" ever again, unless it is an actual bird of prey that is like dying.
I mean, that wasn't a phrase. That was just 2 separate words that were being used unnecessarily
don't do it again.
Together.
Especially not on the podcast. But yes, that's why I wanted it to be Mrs. Sutton, because that was just so funny to me. That like she already had somehow like
she has like alert. Remember, she's good at the internet. She even knows all the shortcuts.
No, I like
she
to
has
think
like
that,
Google Alerts set up on all the dating services.
She blackmailed an FBI agent or someone like really tech savvy into creating a program that would search for like dating sites for specific characteristics that Whit had.
You mean like his name?
Like, no, well, maybe like if he never signed on, someone exactly like him, just so she could hone in on that person as fast as possible and automatically just get them.
She doesn't need a tech savvy FBI person, Victoria. She can do it. She knows all the shortcuts.
No.
So yeah, that doesn't work out because Whit likes big dogs and Miss Sutton is just super offended, and so she leaves disgustedly, dejectedly.
Sherman isn't a very big dog. Did you think about that?
I didn't think about Sherman. I never think about Sherman, Victoria.
I like big dogs. That's why I hate Sherman.
I mean, Sherman's big compared to Mrs. Kramer's dogs, which are like
he's not that big. When I think big dog, I think a dog that comes up to like over my knees.
Comes up to over Dylan's knees.
Dylan is like that tall. He's the size of a lawn gnome. I know because he like rides.
That's a good thing he didn't get run over by the lawnmower.
Yeah.
So that doesn't work out, and then finally they're like, Dr. Graham, and this episode kind of implies that they didn't know each other very well before, when I was definitely under the impression that they did. I don't know.
It's weird.
I guess like they said, it's like you don't really see someone in that light sometimes until you depends on like the lens of your relationship. Yeah.
Yeah. They knew each other for like 4 years.
Lily and Whit get a very romantic date where Penny makes them all sorts of fancy French food, and there's creme brulee and music and like Eiffel Tower salt and pepper shakers. We had creme
brulee for the first time a couple weeks ago.
It was very timely and delicious.
Yeah, I think I didn't like the thing with creme brulee is I never thought I would like it or I'd have the opportunity to try it. So when I did actually try it, I was like, I don't know what I expected, kind of thing. The sugar part tasted, this is now a food podcast, the burnt sugar I've never liked, except for it tasted good then.
Oh yeah, you don't like caramel.
And it tasted like oranges, I think. And
might have been some orange in there.
That surprised me because I'm not really a big fan of like
anything
orange dessert tasting food.
Victoria
That's why I don't like chocolate oranges, and it's like the same kind of thing. But I kind of like creme brulee, so.
Victoria does not like very many foods.
That's true.
Okay, so yeah, Whit and Lily, they start hitting it off really well. And it's like, is this suspiciously well, where it's a trick? Or is this like, is this actually going to be a thing?
Yeah, but they like, it's sneaky though.
I know.
Because I was like, this isn't going to work. It's going to go as disastrously as the other ones. But then they're just like, hitting it off, and I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, so the next day, and they come in, and
they're like, we're gonna get married or whatever.
At first, I thought that like what was gonna happen was it was gonna seem like they were dating, and then it was all of the plan making they were doing. Everyone's gonna be like, oh, they are getting, but they're dating and whatever and stuff, and then it was just gonna turn out to be like a curious, isn't it, type thing, where they weren't even aware of like the romantic connotations other people were putting on them, and they're just we're just working on business plans for the Botswana
and people
mission.
Were gonna be like, oh, it's so romantic.
Yeah.
But then they're like, we're a thing now, and I was like, what the heck?
Yeah, like, I thought it was going to be like, we were just working on the business, like, the Botswana mission plans and stuff, and funding resources from UPF to help fund it and stuff like that. What are you talking about? We have no idea. But no, they were like, they just, like, doubled down on it. There's the tiniest split second where I entertained the notion that Whit was legitimately going to marry Lily. But then he was, like, selling Whit's end.
I'm not the only one.
Okay, good.
Because
I thought you were about to roast me.
No, I already said that I was just, like, confused by it and stuff, because I was kind of buying into it a little bit. But, like...
And then he's like, I'm going to sell Whit's end.
I was like, apparently
yeah, okay.
The missions trip isn't the only mission they got going on. That sentence wasn't good. I don't know where I was going with that. But, I'm just saying, I forgot to talk about the missions trip in my summary. So.
Well, it's not just a trip. It's like a long-term thing.
Yep.
Yeah, as soon as Whit brought up selling Whit's end, I was like, yeah, okay. Yeah, but obviously it makes sense.
I was like, what is going on?
And honestly, that part should have been the kicker for Penny and Olivia to realize that it was a joke, but they didn't. I thought this episode was going to be 50-50 like Connie and Whit.
Yeah, Connie's barely in it.
Yeah.
I wish she was in it a little bit more.
I realized afterwards, I kind
of wanted her to go on some dates.
Yeah.
But that explains why it was called Whit's Woman.
Exactly, so... and why it's called Met His Match, not Met Their Matches or some such. So I was like, now I get it, because I wondered about that before.
matches.
I was like, it's annoying that it's called Met His Match when it's like about Connie and Whit both, but then I was like, oh, okay, Connie's like basically not in this episode.
Connie is to this episode what Grady is to that one gift exchange Christmas
Lamb's
episode.
Tale.
No, not A Lamb's Tale. The
Christmas Conundrum.
Yeah.
The other Christmas gift exchange episode with Grady.
Yeah.
Sort of gift exchange. Lamb's Tale.
Lamb's Tale is not a gift exchange episode.
Well, I was thinking because they're gifting things and then the things get passed to other hands and get taken back. No, but it keeps on changing hands, so they keep on exchanging the gift. So
no.
Yeah.
No.
It's another episode that Grady's not in a super much, but is still in, and it's Christmas.
That one's like centered around him.
But there's like 6 different plot lines in that episode.
Anyway.
So, for the video documentary, we get to cook some creme brulee and ask small children what a date is, and hear from this old couple about how they started dating back in like the 50s and how cheesy and innocent and naive things were back then. The kids in it were great because Bob's like, do you think your parents kiss on a date? And this one kid's like, no! And he's like, do they hug? And he goes, no! They're married! It's like, oh, that's sweet. So, yeah.
There's just an awkward pause. I don't know if you want me to say something there. But...
It was cute. Love kids. So this episode,
I was like, Devin, this one was because there's always episodes where it's either like, there's only 2 modes for Oddcast episodes and getting ready for them. It's either I've listened to it first and I'm trying to get Devin to listen to it, or Devin's listened to it first and he's trying to get me to listen to it. And this was one where I heard it first, and I was like, you gotta listen to this, because I wanted to like hear your thoughts on like the whole Whit and Lily fake out, because it got me.
Honestly, at the end,
got Kathy.
I thought they were gonna be like, no, we're joking, we're not getting married and moving away, but we actually are going to start dating. That's what I thought was gonna happen, because they hit it off so well. I was like, clearly, they played a joke. They were goofing Olivia and Penny, but I thought they actually were going to start dating.
It's like, oh, you got us. We're not gonna start dating. And they're like, oh, good. Like, we got married last night in secret.
Yeah.
None of you were invited.
If you're ordained, can you marry yourself to someone? Probably not, right?
I don't think you can.
Maybe it's like, you know how there's the rule where, like, the captain can marry, like, of a ship can marry people.
Okay, I had to do research for this.
Yeah, I know. That's why as soon as I said, I'm like,
yeah.
The captain can marry 2 people. The first mate can marry people if he's marrying, or if they are marrying the captain to someone else, and the second mate can marry people only if they are marrying the captain to the first mate. So
okay, the first mate can
if Whit is
marry people. Also, normally, if the captain is indisposed.
Well, yeah.
Which is, like, why...
Because then they're the acting captain.
Can do it in ASU.
But what I was going to say
only, like,
is...
certain types of captains can do that. You have to be ordained. Like, not all captains can do that.
But my point is, Whit probably can't marry himself to Lily, but
look it up.
Connie, as the first mate of Whit's End, could marry Whit and Lily.
Whit's End is not a ship. Unless they go into the imagination station and go on a boat. I
thought you were saying the imagination station is a vessel itself.
We've learned that there's so many Whits throughout different eras. But there's probably a Whit lookalike that has a pirate ship, and they can just steal that and pretend Whit's the captain and get married.
Or just use any other captain of a boat. No, but if Whit's End is a TARDIS, then it is a ship. So there you go. It's a vehicle to imagination and discovery, Victoria. And Whit is the captain, and Connie's the first mate.
I do
and
not
Eugene's
agree.
the second mate, so Eugene could marry Connie and Whit, but he
No!
wouldn't. And Connie could marry
That's
Whit
like
and Lily.
incest.
Yeah, well, he wouldn't. But Connie could marry Whit and Lily. And since she was in on the joke, she could have actually done that. It would have been hilarious. But it didn't happen.
That would have been hilarious for a lot of people.
She wouldn't have actually done it, except she would have actually done it without realizing it would be like a bad beginning.
What do you think the answer is? Yes or no? Can you marry yourself to someone?
No.
Why not? What do you think the reason is? Because you're right, you can't, but why not? Has to do with paperwork.
Oh, because you can't sign as both parties?
It says you can only sign a marriage certificate in one place. And so you can't sign as the groom or the officiator. Or and both. You have to either be the officiator or the groom.
Interesting.
Or the bride.
That's a very odd reason why.
It is.
I mean, I guess it's so that you don't
It's a very specific
I think it's
and odd
because
reason.
wedding certificates usually need witnesses, and they don't want you to have the witnesses be the people who
You marry yourself and you get ordained so you can do it yourself and you're your own witness.
Exactly. Well, that's what I say. It means that you also can't get married to yourself.
It's just a one-person marriage. That'd be so sad.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You may now kiss yourself, and then your lips turn inside out.
No.
It's really creepy.
What is wrong with you? No one's ever gonna watch this podcast ever again. It's gonna be someone's first episode, and they're gonna shut it off.
Every episode is probably one person's first episode, which is why we don't get enough subscribers. What are your final thoughts on this episode, Victoria?
You first.
Okay. I really like. We've had a lot of episodes lately that have focused on like romance and dating and like the nature of it, and
It's because they've all been single for so long, all these chumps.
yeah. Um, I really like the fact that even though we've had a bunch of them close together, like we had David and Absalom, which kind of had part of that with Olivia and stuff. Um, and then we had Sir Buddy's Snowy Day, and now we have this, but they're all looking at different aspects of it. And this one was looking at something that Wit touched upon, or sorry, not, yes, that Wit touched upon in last time he was dealing with romantic entanglements in For Whom the Wedding Bells Toll, which is figuring out God's will for your life in relation to romantic stuff. And it's like, just because you can doesn't mean you should. I was actually thinking about this last night when I was talking to Sean, not in a romantic context, but talking about like what you should do with your life, and the fact like just because you are capable of doing a thing with your life doesn't mean you should do it. Because just because you can't do it doesn't
Jumping
mean
off a bridge.
yes. Just because you can perform something doesn't mean that that's what God is calling you to. That's not to what God is calling you, which is an important thing. You need to actually seek His will and know if that is where He is leading you, which applies to every area of our lives, including relationships. So it was a good theme.
I like that. Everything about Connie in this episode, it was good. I was really hoping Jeff was going to show up for the entire episode. I was waiting for it.
In the online thing, it was like, Connie's had a lot of like potential people want her with over the years. Jeff Lewis, Robert Mitchell, Jason Whittaker.
Judah. People include Judah, and they also, that like little bonus track from...
What? First Love.
Yeah, okay. Where it's like, here are some of Connie's loves over the years. And like, one of them, three of them, I'm like, they should not be on here.
Like
one
Rodney.
of them was Rodney. And it's because he said the words, I love Connie Kendall, but he was not saying it about himself.
He was
reading Isaac's note addressed to Connie, but it made it sound like Rodney likes Connie. And if they actually wanted to do Rodney, like, trying to be romantic towards Connie, they should have took something from, like, Yellow Sweaters and Green... I can't talk.
Yeah. Green Eyes and Yellow Tulips.
Yeah, from Green Eyes and Yellow Tulips. Because even though he's faking it there, it's more authentic than him reading a note and having him make it look like it's Rodney.
That is a better solution than if they were listed the names and they were like Isaac Morton, and then they played the clip of Rodney saying nothing, because that would have been more confusing for someone who didn't know where the clip came from.
And then Jimmy.
Wow,
and Jimmy only...
Isaac,
and that's in the episode about Jimmy going through puberty. And also, it's never addressed ever again, so I don't really think it should count.
Yeah, that's not fair.
It's not fair towards Jimmy.
Jimmy would have been attracted to a clothing store mannequin at that point.
And the other person is Judah, and I don't think he should count because he's not real. He's not real. He proposes to her, but he's pixels. He's a pixel man. It's not real.
He's Adam Sandler. That is a good point. Like, listen, I've played a fair...
It should have just been Jeff and Mitch.
It's fair. I've played a fair number of dating sims and dating sim adjacent games, but putting a fake computer man into that list... I mean, there's already a real computer man on that list. Mitch is a real computer man. Judah is a fake computer man. He is an outlier. Probably should not have been counted.
Honestly, if they put a character like Richard in that, I would have less issue with that than, like, everyone else out of those three. Because just, like, those three should not
Judah
be on
is on
list.
the same level as, like, the Tamagotchi Connie had when she was 9 that also loved her.
Okay, Monica from Doki Doki, who is an AI, is, like... more suited to this
contender
than Judah, because at least she's self-aware and sentient that she's a computer program, and Judah doesn't know he's a computer program.
It's true.
If you can actually be literally paused, you should not be considered qualified.
Technically, they could have also included the general from Back to Bethlehem as well. He tried to buy Connie marry her.
I'm glad they didn't, honestly. They could put
General Lucanus, I believe. What's his name?
Yeah, that's it. I was gonna say maybe they could put Devin because they were on a blind date, but like it's not like either of them were actually interested in each other. Not you.
There's so few Devins out there.
There's one in the show.
There's one beside you.
You don't count. You're just pixels, and I can pause you.
Okay, joke's over.
Get it? Because it's gonna be a video on YouTube. You're a pixel man.
And then I will be a digital man.
You're a digital. You're
Sorry,
the
guys,
digital boyfriend
surprise,
man everyone in the audience here has.
It's time for us to tell everyone the truth, Victoria. I've never actually existed. I'm just a digital rig that you created.
You're an AI that I made because I'm really smart.
I'm like, he's an I. This is actually your YouTube channel, and I'm just a rig, and you do like the voiceover after the fact.
Yeah,
with someone else put me in. I'm not a real person.
That's why we look similar. I modeled you after myself.
Look at that. See,
that's why You're not doing it right at all. We can't even see your other finger. There we go.
There we go.
But that's why we have the same thought patterns because it's just.
Because neither of us are real.
No, we're real. We're
fragments of the same AI.
No, it's RBB. Anyway, we got so off topic.
Do you think the wrong podcast? Do you think that the Connie? I was gonna do the same thing.
That Connie's what?
That Connie's stuff in this episode is actually going to carry forward in the future, like anywhere in the near future, they're going to follow through on Connie's dating app thing. Because I would say maybe, except for the fact that we talked with Kathy and she's like, I don't actually want Connie to be with anyone. So I'm like, I don't know.
I want it to be followed up. I feel like there's a very strong chance it won't be because, again, what Katie said to us. Kathy, I can't talk. Sorry. Kathy said to us. Brain. If anyone ever does feel like just putting Connie with Jeff Lewis, then this would be a good way to rig that. Yes, Devin, is there something you'd like to say to me?
I got a response from this profile that's like Jesus
Pilot
99422XX. I wonder who that could be. I'm pretty sure Tinder uses real names, not usernames like that.
No, that is his real name.
Oh, sorry, that's his birth name. That's his Christian name. That's what he was baptized as.
It's literally his Christian name because he's Jesus Pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus Pilot 1, 2, 3, 4.
Jesus Pilot is my favorite Odyssey character.
No, I think it would be interesting. Like, even if Connie doesn't end up with someone, which I know Kathy doesn't want her to, and I feel that, really, I still think following this plot thread through on future episodes would be interesting because it allows us to actually explore, not just, like, passively not have Connie with anyone, but especially because right now she's still being, like, bombarded by all this, like, Penny Wooten gushy stuff. It allows her to actually, like, consciously face her, like, desires and wants and expectations regarding, like, relationships and romance and stuff like that, both for herself and, like, for the audience to hear and internalize and, like, learn about, like, oh, sometimes you don't need someone in your life like that at this time or in general or whatever, depending on who you are and what God has for you and all that stuff.
Well, the thing with Connie that we've talked about before, she's always kind of in a state of bombardment and, like, restlessness.
Well, yeah, but it's been
about her romantic
in the last little
or
bit,
about, like, where she's going with, like, her work life.
I'll agree with that, yeah, in one thing or another.
School and...
But this thing has just been building up for so long, the Penny Wooten thing, like, it's been built up and foreshadowed so much, and it hasn't really, like, actually fully gone anywhere yet. I have to believe that it's leading to something, and I just want all of this. Like, I think it's great if it's like, oh yeah, Connie isn't going to be with someone, and she's okay with that, but that needs to be externalized in the show explicitly as a developmental thing.
Yeah, I agree with that. But she's going to be fine with not being with anyone. That's when she's going to end up with someone, because that's how life works.
Yeah.
But...
His name is Jeff Mitchell, and Connie's like, I knew you were trouble you.
She's like, what could go wrong? I will say that depending, I'm like basically always 50-50 or 51-49, I guess, on whether I think Connie should be with someone or if I'm just like, no, I think she's good by herself the way she is now. And it basically all comes down to what mood I'm in, because there's always a 50-50 chance I'll give someone either answer while still like mentioning the other one. I always like change my mind on it.
You're in a state of like Le Chatelier's equilibrium, so you're just kind of like bouncing back and forth softly across the 50% line.
Like a game of Pong that never ends.
No, because that would be going all the way to one end and all the way to the other.
Oh.
You're just oscillating right over like 50.1 and 49.9.
I'm like that with a lot of things, like whether one couple or another couple's my OTP in a book series, or whether I like one thing more or the other thing. But I'm talking about Sarah J. Maas stuff.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Obviously,
what else do I talk about? But what rating do you give this? This episode got me good, so I have to give him like at least 3 points.
I've gone first a bunch lately, so you can give a number first.
Okay. I don't really know what to say for my final thoughts on this. I think that we've kind of just, I don't know, everything we talked about so far. I'm having trouble putting my final thoughts for this one into words, and I don't know why. I think this episode was a lot of fun. And it's always nice to have, like, a fun episode.
I think it was fun. Now and then. I'm glad that we had it. I think it was, like, a good, like, thing for us to experience both for Whit and for Connie.
I thought Penny and Olivia were kind of horrible in this episode.
They were.
I was just like, don't do this to Whit, like, in general. And don't do it to him on his anniversary.
Yeah, that was really bad.
Because that's, like, the hardest day for him of the year next to, like, the day Jerry died, pretty much.
And and Penny also did the marriage is so great. She did that to Whit too. And it's like, I think Whit knows that. He was married to his wife for a very long time before she died on this day, Penny.
Which you're saying right in front of it. And Connie also said, like, don't sign Whit up for this because it'll make him very uncomfortable and he won't be happy.
It's almost like I've known
him. And it'll be, like, really hard for him.
A long
I
time.
know personally I am his child. And Penny's just like, well, that's what she said. But Olivia, what she actually meant was she wants me to ruin Whit's day. The day his wife died. So then she does it.
It's already pretty ruined.
I don't really think it was out of character for Penny, though.
No.
Or Olivia.
Not particularly.
I think Penny had best intentions in mind, definitely.
She did. It doesn't mean a whole lot, but
I
she
know.
did.
She didn't really think about it. I think it was a good episode. I'd give it 4.5 out of 5. Probably just because I wanted a little bit more Connie.
I was going to say like a 4.3. I really liked the lesson. I liked what we had, but I would like more Connie.
Also, I wish that was actually not Mrs. Kramer. Was Miss Sutton.
Mrs. Kramer was funny, but I do think that working in Mrs. Sutton to the episode
that would have been amazing.
Somehow
she's like a hound dog.
Would have been incredible. Especially because I think the response that they got initially from like this person was like, oh yeah, I'll meet you up at Wits End. I'm great with kids. And my mind immediately flashed back to Broken Arm and Dangerous.
She's like, I'm great with... What was
she said like kids at one point, and then at a different point, she's like, I'm great with spoons or something like that.
And I'm like,
No, she did also say though, like, I'm great with kids in that episode.
Yeah. I want that to be an Odyssey meme. It's just like, I'm great with, and then you fill in the blank, but like only for kitchen appliances. So it's like, I'm great with ladling, and you have to say it in her voice specifically.
I don't think that one's gonna catch on, Victoria.
Well then, that's just your opinion.
It is, who knows the wild and wacky ways of the internet. So, yep, that's met his match. But he didn't. He did not meet his match.
He met his match a long time ago.
He did.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine?
The
It
Pasadena
was called
Public
Met His
Library.
Match because Jenny came back from the dead as a zombie.
No, I couldn't. That would be difficult for me to imagine.
Also, Wits End didn't burn down. We should. Disclaimer. No fires were to be had in this episode.
But like a fire match? Is that
Because, like, yeah, fire match, we made those jokes, like,
Oh,
originally.
okay, I don't remember that.
No, remember? Cause
that does sound like us.
Met his match in the episode that was, like, our predictions that got deleted.
Ah.
We were, like, talking about Wits End burning down for, like, 20 minutes.
That does sound like us.
And then when we had to refilm it, we started talking about that, and I was like, oh wait, no, it's the dating one. And you're like, how did I forget? And I was like, oh, I remembered and you didn't.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because we smart.
I remembered. You did not.
Now, well, eventually, let's talk about Wrapped Around Your Finger, the good old Eugene versus Katrina's 7 evil parents.
7 evil ex-parents, because one of them's dead.
Yeah. The other one isn't, because we just heard, like, a couple episodes ago that Buck was visiting and Katrina were visiting Millie.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Buck's met Millie. I really want to see them interact.
I'm so upset we didn't get to hear that.
Like, oh my gosh.
Could you, because she's already so disapproving of Eugene. Could you imagine if she's like, oh, this is our son, Buck. And they're like, why is Buck so old? Oh, because he was a homeless criminal that we adopted. It was Eugene's idea. And Millie will just be like, okay, let's
I need to sit down.
We're gonna pause so we can switch to that recording. Okay, stop. Okay, so 393, Wrapped Around Your Finger, written by Paul McCusker. There's nothing in the guide about this one, sadly.
Millie doesn't talk much in this episode.
She
I'm going
doesn't.
to say she gets mandied, a new term I have where a character should appear at the end of an episode, but they do not. Like with Mandy in The Pact Part 2. Because I'm totally not bitter or anything.
Or more generally, maybe just like appears suspiciously little in the episode compared to how much they're physically present and should be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at the end, it's just like, oh yeah, she's in the car. And I'm like, why isn't she, like,
yeah, and she
here for
barely
this
speaks
conversation?
compared to Armitage throughout the whole episode.
This is the first time she speaks in an episode, isn't it?
I believe so.
It's a different voice actress than we get for her later on.
Yeah. Yeah, does she... Yeah, she doesn't speak in the right choice,
only,
does she?
in, like, this episode and the other
Not the last I do, for better or for worse.
The Mary one.
For better or for worse. Yeah, she's not in the right choice, is she?
She doesn't talk. She's there, but she never talks.
No, Armitage talks.
She's the silent wife.
It's like, well, Fisher cut bait. As Bart says, he's like, maybe Armitage is one of those chauvinist types who keeps his wife locked up at home, you know, kind of like you, Bart.
Oh, man, that line.
What happens in Wrapped Around Your Finger?
So this is the episode during the vast arc of Eugene and Katrina's early-ish, middle stage of their relationship, where they were, like, engaged for a really long time.
A long drawn out, seemingly never end engagement, to quote Eugene in I Slept Floor.
Yeah, but, like, really awkwardly engaged because there is no ring. But in this episode, there is finally a ring. So, and also, shouldn't Katrina have gotten the ring for Eugene?
Yes.
That's always
She was the one who proposed. Like, I never thought about that before.
No, I thought about that so many
correct.
times, because, like, this is on her. She should have been the one to get the ring.
In
she
fairness,
proposed, like, twice.
She was super high when she proposed.
That's true.
So, who knows how that actually formally shook out once everyone was sober.
She was genuine, though, and that's what matters. So
So
she should
matters.
be held accountable.
Doesn't matter how much painkillers was on,
Doesn't-
or how
doesn't
much
matter
pot she was also smoking
that-
at the picnic.
It does not matter that you cannot No, I'm not gonna end that sentence. Anyway.
That is a valid point that you raise.
Thank you. I've thought about it way too much. Anyway, so in this episode, it has
Eugene was the one who proposed first.
I knew you were gonna say that, but, like, she said no. And then he said yes to her, so...
Did he buy a ring the first time? He didn't, right?
No, he just proposed. He, like, crashed their wedding and proposed.
Yeah, I know, but he didn't do it at the wedding. To the end of the two-parter.
I know, but he still didn't have a ring. Maybe it would have been a little bit less worse. No, maybe not, actually.
It would have made him seem, like, even weirder, like,
He just buys
creepy
it
stalker.
from a dollar store and it's a ring pop. And Katrina, will you marry me over Brandon, who has an actual ring that looks really nice and isn't worth $1.35 from a dollar store?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so this one starts off with my precious baby boy Jack Allen, a lot older than me. And it's in J&J Antiques, and Eugene is helping them out with a catalog program on the computer.
Well, website.
Well, yeah. And he's, like, putting some, like, all of their merch into the thing so they know the what's what of the store.
Wow,
it's not merch. It's just...
He's not putting their stuff into, like, a database. He just signed them up. He's like, this is a website, and if you type things in, it'll tell you stuff.
Jack's like, I don't know, senile devices technology.
Yeah, anyways.
Back in mind.
Anyways.
That's what Jack sounds like. So then Eugene sees, like, this really pretty ring, and he's like, Katrina would love that. And then he sees another ring. He's like, I'd love that one too. Too bad she never bought a ring for me. Knowing that should have happened. But
Eugene could have worn the fake Rothschild ring.
Probably wouldn't have fit him, but yeah, he should have.
They could have sized it.
It would have fixed all the problems.
We never thought of this
Episode over. Episode over. Devin just solved Odyssey.
I did it, guys. I fixed it.
Odyssey's fixed. We've solved Blue's clues.
That's the end of the show.
We've found Blue's murderers.
Shut it down, Dave.
Odyssey's over. Thank you for listening.
You can go home
the
now.
Podcast is over too.
Focus can shut down.
Go have the time of your life.
Yeah, what else happens in the episode?
I could have solved everything, Devin.
I mean, it probably wouldn't have for Armitage, because they're like, you can't put that precious ring on Eugene's filthy plebeian finger.
You know what the thing is? You know what?
What?
You know what?
What?
Don't you get different rings for, like, getting married and getting engaged anyway? Why did Eugene just, like, give her the Rothschild and then just, like, take the other ring and be like, this is gonna be your wedding ring, so you're gonna have to wait?
Because
that would
Victoria,
have also solved all the problems.
Eugene is the one getting married to Katrina. He bought this as an engagement ring. It's going to be an engagement ring.
Then he can give her the Rothschild for their wedding.
Yeah, except Armitage wouldn't like that because it's not a wedding ring, it's an engagement ring, and you have to follow tradition. That was Millie, not Armitage.
You know, like in things where it's just like one character wants the other character to, like, get married to someone. Like, usually a parent, like, telling a kid,
an arranged wedding.
Yeah, in an arranged marriage, like, you have to marry this person, and the kid's like, if you like them so much, why don't you marry to them? Like, why didn't Armitage wear the Rothschild? Like, again, Odyssey over. Like,
I mean,
we've
Millie
ended
did.
the show 3 times now.
That clearly was her engagement ring. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, I know, but, like, Armitage never wore it. Maybe he's just bitter he never got to wear it.
That's probably it. It sounds like a very pretty ring.
Yeah. I imagine it's just, like, a normal, like, silver band with just, like, a little white
Probably.
stone.
Yes, I'm
but,
sure.
like, I'm sure it looks
sounds
pretty.
very simple and plain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And breakable. Eugene should have just broken it and been like, oops, episode Odyssey over. There's so many different ways that Odyssey can end.
Eugene, after they find out it's fake, Eugene's like, well, since you value the value of the ring so much, maybe Katrina could just wear a ring pop since it's worth more than your ring. And then Armitage just dies on the spot.
And then Eugene, he throws the ring in the air, and then it ends, like, face up, like that, on the counter, and then he dabs, and then Odyssey ends. 5 ways. 5 ways Odyssey's ended now.
Yeah, what else happens in the episode, Victoria? Come on.
I don't think anything else ever matters now, ever again.
I mean, it's true, no.
Anyway, so Eugene gets this ring for Katrina.
It's one of those things that you can't tell because it's an audio show how frequently Eugene is actually dabbing.
And he has a silent air horn that Connie's always, like, pressing right behind
He's also
him.
spinning around in circles like Griffin McElroy.
And he always has sunglasses on, and, like, his glasses over them, but since his hair's down, it's like glasses, hair, or sunglasses, hair, glasses.
You know how they had, like, the Tom cutting apples, but it sounded like cutting hair, and they had to take the sound effects out? In that scene in Novacom, and they talked about it in, like, the inside the box thing. It's the same thing where you can, if you listen closely in most Eugene scenes, you can hear the quiet shuffling of his feet as he does the Griffin McElroy, like, spinning around in a circle.
And then spinning the other way. Link in the description. Water. Yeah! No! Devin spilled his water on his computer after we recorded last time. You spilled it, like, on your keyboard.
I did. I filled my MacBook with water.
Actually, I don't think we were recording. I think we just watched it.
I did fill my MacBook with water, and I just kept shaking it sideways, and water
just a waterfall.
Came out from the inside for, like, 5 minutes. I also knocked my water bottle over off my bedside table the other day, and it spilled over the floor, and I used, like, half a box of Kleenex soaking it up.
Why didn't you use paper towel?
It's the same absorbency, basically.
Yeah, but anyway.
We have a lot of Kleenex, too, Victoria.
Anyway.
We have more in both than we could ever use.
So.
Costco. What happens in this episode?
Anyway, Eugene gives the ring to Katrina, and she loves it, and they're like, well, let's have an engagement party, and Joanne's like, I'm gonna throw you guys the dopest engagement party ever, and then
the air horns are audible this time.
The air horns are audible this time. Katrina and Eugene do their engagement dabs in succession to show how, like, far they've come as a couple.
Drift compatible.
They're drift compatible, and it's really beautiful. Neither of us have ever seen any Pacific Rim. And then, Connie is just like...
I'm just laughing at they're drift compatible because they can dab at the same time.
I mean, I haven't seen the movies, but I'm pretty sure that's how it
I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
John Boyega would be, like, he would do that. Because he's really cool. And then Connie finds out that she doesn't get to throw them an engagement party, and she dabs, like, really sadly, so, like, it's facing downwards.
She's just dibbing.
Yeah, she dibs.
This is a very teen relatable episode we're making here. Yeah. Really reaching out to the younger audience.
What's your favorite soda and what's your least favorite soda?
Sprite Pepsi. And I'm abstinence until I die.
You have to put that one down.
I know. Too. I watched that earlier today.
I was watching clips earlier the other day. I would be root beer grapefruit.
Which is your... You hate grapefruit, right?
Favorite, least favorite. Anyway.
Grapefruit is amazing.
No.
It's the best spot.
No. Anyway, and then, so Armitage and Millie, back when Armitage was alive,
hashtag TBT.
Yeah. They come and visit, and then in the middle of, like, the party, because it's an engagement party, but Eugene's, like, gonna... Oh, wait, no, Katrina doesn't know about the ring yet.
No.
Okay.
Did you listen to this episode before this review? That's what I thought.
So they're having the engagement party, and then Eugene is about to do a toast. And then he's like, Katrina, I love you so much. I'm gonna do a toast. And Armitage is just like, hold the phone. And then he's like, Katrina, I love you more than your husband, who's going to marry you, does.
It's
so
the most
I
passive-aggressive moment.
Ring, and it's just, you're cringing. Every part of you is cringing.
In 840 episodes, this is the most passive-aggressive moment in Odyssey, is Armitage's speech for presenting the ring.
Holy goodness. I want Armitage to go toe-to-toe against Wellington in a posh, passive-aggressive showdown. They would kill each other. Wellington has dabbed before. That, at least
That's
once.
canon.
That is canon.
Well, it was happened while he was doing the chicken dance.
Yeah. Even though dabbing didn't exist back then.
He started it.
He started it! Yes! Oh my gosh.
That's silly. We all know it was Squidward. That one Squidward mascot.
Anyway. No, it was Wellington. Anyway. So then Armitage, like, pulls out a ring, and Katrina's like, oh, daddy, and I'm like, don't say that when he gives you a ring. Stop. I hate this.
We're 14 minutes in. Please finish the summary.
We should just stop and start over again. Anyway, so Eugene's like, yeah, that ring in private later on. Katrina's like, isn't this ring great? And Eugene's like, yup. And she's like, it's just so great that someone loves
Eugene,
me enough
your
to,
eye is
like,
twitching.
give me a ring. And he's like, uh-huh. Except for I have this. And he, like, David Copperfields it out of his pocket by just pulling it out of his pocket. I don't know who David Copperfield is.
He got very bad at sleight of hand in his later years.
And then she's like, oh, this one's way nicer than the ugly one my dad gave me. What do we do now? And Eugene's like, we'll just give it back to him and say, like, get out of our love life. And that doesn't go over well. And they get in this, like, huge fight, and Armitage is like, if the ring don't fit, we must quit.
Get out of the kitchen.
And, yeah, then there's just this whole thing, and then they're, like, trying to find the prices, and they're arguing over prices.
They never try to do it. Jack just happens to do it because he's nosy.
Jack is a nosy boy. And then Eugene's
if there's one character trait we know about Jack Wilbur Allen, it's that he really likes to get his nose up in other people's business and just kind of, like, disturb the peace.
He's very boisterous also.
Yes, he is.
He's the most boisterous character. And so then Eugene, like, smugly foxtrots over to Armitage, and he's just like, hey, Armitage.
He just gets a blood-curdling grin like the Grinch when his smile, like, curls up to his ears. Yeah.
And then he's just like, hey, Armitage, found out that your ring is worthless. And then Katrina does air horns this time, and then they both dab in succession again to show that, like, they're still equally together, and, like, they won't let this tear them apart. And then
Jack Allen is behind, like, trying to figure out how to dab. Except he just has, like, a handkerchief, and he's just, like legitimately dabbing.
You're not. No.
That's what it is.
And then, they get in their mech, and then they step on Armitage, and that's actually how he dies.
Emotionally.
And then they leave. He throws a hissy fit, and he's just like, Millie's gonna be crying all the way back home, and I'm gonna have to listen to her. And then
oh, wow. How terrible is it?
It's like
I'm sorry that you hate your marriage so much.
You're gonna have to spend hours dealing with someone who's really annoying and overly emotional all the time. Now you know what it's like for Eugene to spend time with you. And then I dab. You know it works.
Alright, are you done with your summary now?
This is the most I've ever dabbed in my life, and I now hate myself.
That's the key. That's what makes it real. In your heart. Okay. Is that the end of the summary?
Yes.
So, the beginning of this episode, like we touched on, is one of those weird technological time capsule moments as Eugene tells Jack to, quote, move the pointer to that box and click, instead of click here, or how Joanne says to, quote, ask the computer about the jade box instead of look up the jade box. Like,
they just talk to the computer.
Granted, old people are still bad at computers now, but the wording of this scene has always struck me as so delightfully antiquated. It's adorable.
If you're someone who's, like, grown up with Wit and spent time with him and, like, worked in Wit's End and also, like, practically lived there, talking to a computer is a normal thing. I will defend that line.
Okay, but counterpoint, if you're someone who grew up with Wit and, like, knew him super well for your entire life, and yet you're still so bad with computers that someone has to say, move the pointer to this box and then push down click on this button instead of just click on that, then what's going on? Which one of the foremost
I have two
computer
things
developers
to say
in the world?
Back to you on that. One, there's a reason why Wit never stole Joanne from Jack romantically. And why Joanne was the only person that Wit never stole from Jack.
She's bad with computers?
Yes.
I'm talking about Jack.
Two, Clara isn't the real reason that Jack and Wit fought so long ago.
Yeah, I knew that was going to be your other thing.
Yes.
I also like when Joanne asks if Eugene gets along with the Shanks, and he's like, yes, except for when we have to talk to each other or be in the same state as each other. As long as they stay like 1,000 miles in that way, and I stay here, it's pretty chill.
He was actually talking about solid state.
Oh, yeah. I see.
Science.
He doesn't actually say the word state, though. I put that in there.
Well, then.
Maybe if you listen to the episode.
Put quotation marks around your notes.
I said he's like.
That is a false quote. That is a false quote.
I didn't realize how much I missed Tom and Bernard until I heard their voices in this episode. The everything about Bernard in this is, like, honestly the best part of the episode. Even though he's only in the one.
Bernard's lines from this episode.
Even though he's only in the one scene, everything about it. When Tom's like, "What do your parents think of you marrying Eugene?" But now, Tom, you don't want to put her on the spot. Bernard, sure he does. That's why I asked her in front of everyone. And then the whole conversation about them being affectionate is so good. Where's that bucket? Eugene, Connie thinks a kiss hello would be appropriate. Connie wants me to kiss her hello?
No, Eugene.
Me. She wants you to kiss her hello? No, Eugene. We should all kiss hello? One big sloppy smooch fest? Well, when you put it that way.
And Bernard's like, that doesn't sound like the worst thing, I suppose.
Oh, man. That's so good.
I love Bernard. Get me that bucket.
So, yeah, the ring gets presented at the party, and Armitage's majorly passive-aggressive speech that first belonged to your great-grandmother Porcelain, and I'll never get over the fact
name is
that since Armitage was named after, like, a toilet and sink company, that his grandmother's literally named Porcelain. Like, it's better than naming her, like, Toilet Shanks or Bathtub Shanks, but still.
Sink Shanks has, like, some nice comic book alliteration going on, though. So there's that at least.
It's moments when Jack is like, I could only see your great-grandmother's ring from across the room, but I think the design looks specifically like this one jeweler from the 19th century's work, with, like, that you realize there are so many extremely precise areas of knowledge in the world of which you are blissfully unaware.
He's too smart.
He's not even recognizing the specific ring, because he's like, it's one of a kind. So it's not even, like, a design that Rothschild made. It's just one that looks like Rothschild's style. And yet Jack from across the room is still able to see it from that distance with his old eyes and recognize it.
Hey, he's one of the characters that does not have glasses in the show.
You don't know if he has contacts.
He does not.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, the Shanks are so melodramatic, and I just hate it so much. The
Shanks are hard to deal with.
Whenever people are, like, so concerned with holding on to traditions for the sake of traditions without giving thought to whether or not it's harmful or not, like, it's fine if it's like, oh, I hold on to traditions because I like them and they're not hurting anyone, then it's like, okay, that's fine, whatever. But if it's like, I'm holding on to these traditions and they might be hurting people, but the fact that we need to keep on doing them is more important than other factors that actually matter, it makes me So angry, and just the fact that the Shanks are this way about anything that goes against like what their family usually does, or anything that goes against their whims. When Katrina decides to wear the engagement ring from the person to whom she is engaged, Amelia's like, "Is this how it will be from now on? Will you stab us in the back and gut our intestines and slit our throats at every turn, or just the ones that will also break our hearts?" And I'm like, good gravy, woman.
That is not actually what she says.
No. It's like, ugh.
But, yeah, especially with this, because sometimes, like, traditions can matter, like, a lot, and have, like, huge impact on. This doesn't matter. It's just, no one cares. Armitage doesn't even care.
And the lesson clearly didn't sink in for Millie, because then we get for better or for worse. And she's like, "But you can't have..."
Maybe that's why she wasn't there at the end of the episode, so she wouldn't learn the lesson.
Yeah, I mean, honestly. And Armitage clearly isn't communicating very well with his wife.
Armitage is the worst.
He is.
Honestly, like, it's one of those things, because the scene where he dies in Novacom is sad, but no one's sad while they're listening to it. They're not sad he's dying. They're sad that Katrina's sad.
Yeah.
Because no one likes Armitage.
No.
At all.
No.
In any way.
He literally died because his coworkers assassinated him, and I think that says a lot.
It's like what happened to Pinocchio. It's like, if he didn't die by getting a brain tumor implanted in him by Novacom, or not, whatever.
Andromeda.
Yeah. Then they would have tied him up and thrown him into the sea with, like, rocks attached to him by ropes so he'd get eaten by a shark.
Mm-hmm.
Like...
I mean, in fairness, I think it's at least worth pointing out that the reason that his coworkers assassinated him is because he was trying to protect Eugene. But still,
like... Still.
You know. Speaking of Armitage being terrible, he's like, "Great, now I'll have to use the bathroom in the lobby because Millie will be crying in our bathroom all night." Which is, on one hand, such a terrible thing to say. Also, you'd think a seasoned businessman and traveler such as himself would know that when you're in a hotel, you always want to use the washrooms on the second floor, not in the lobby, because on the second floor, they're publicly accessible because of the conference rooms, but there's minimal foot traffic, unlike the lobby. But maybe this hotel is too small to have conference rooms because it's Odyssey, but that still seems unlikely to me.
You're strange. I feel like
It's
Armitage
true.
has
That's
two
like Bernie's
moods.
number one traveling tip.
Armitage has two moods. Either he hates his entire family, especially Millie and Eugene, or he loves them a lot. There's no in between.
Yeah, but love for
he's
him
always
is
complaining about everything.
He doesn't love his family. He loves the idea of his family being what he wants them to be.
He always whines about Millie.
His emotions for his family are never self-sacrificial, except for the one time that he literally sacrificed himself.
He sacrifices himself, and he's also like so intent on like doing the wedding vows a second time and stuff in the other episode. So like, what's his deal? I feel like he's weird. He has like, I don't want to say he's inconsistent characterization, because his characterization is always that he's a jerk. And that's pretty, like, always happens. Yeah,
I don't think it's inconsistent.
I don't think it's
inconsistent.
It's
like the 87 times Armitage was a jerk, and the one time he wasn't and then died.
It's a great fanfic title.
Yeah.
I don't like Armitage.
No, he's terrible.
He's a jerk.
He's so bad. I really love how patronizing Connie is when she finds out about the engagement ring. She's like, "Oh, Eugene, you thought the idea up all by yourself?" With regards to giving a ring to your fiancé for being engaged, she sounds like she's talking to an 8-year-old. And Eugene's like, "Yes, all by myself. Thank you, Miss Kendall. I am aware somewhat of
she was
traditions."
Surprised because she was like, "Why did you do that? Katrina was supposed to get
That's
you the ring."
That's probably why.
She's like saying it in a way just like, "I'm impressed, but at the same time, you shouldn't have had to do that. She should have gotten it for you first. And I don't think the message got through to Eugene.
No.
But
Eugene is so much the bigger person in this episode.
he is.
Especially for someone whose character for so long was centered around, like, having to be right no matter what. Like, it is incredible how petty her parents are. Armitage is like a comic book villain in this episode. And when Eugene is like, I think that a relationship is more important than a ring. Don't you agree? And Armitage is just straight up like, no, I honestly do not care. My ring is better and more expensive, so you will wear it. Also, Millie will be sad otherwise, and I'm incapable of performing even the basis level emotional labor for my wife because I'm so entrenched in toxic masculinity, is the direct quote from the episode, I think.
You know what? Even if, like, they let him win in a way, they should have just, like, waited until they left and Katrina wore the ring for, like, a day, and then they threw it in, well, like, until they leave. And then they throw it in the toilet, and then she wears, like, the other ring. And then they take, like, 50 pics on Instagram, and they send them all to him, and they're, like, pointing to the ring, and they're dabbing another one.
I was going to say, wear the ring like that. No, yeah, she drops it into the toilet, and she's like, here's your ring back, Armitage.
And she's like, the ocean will carry it to you some way.
No, because it's toilet, because it's Armitage.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But,
fine. So, that being said, the satisfaction that then comes when the ring is fake and Eugene gets to be like, but it's the thought that counts, right? As Armitage's world melts around him and all the blood drains from his face.
Melts like that scene from Indiana Jones.
The smugness in it is so delicious. Oh, it's so good.
This is another episode where you kind of say, like, where are Katrina's brothers? Are they dead? Are they in Australia?
It's also, like, one of those episodes where you're like, how did Katrina turn out as good of a person and well-adjusted as she did?
I don't
Given, like,
know.
what old money she came from and her parents.
I don't know.
And then the ending bit about, like, Eugene and Katrina joking about eloping, ha ha ha, and not thinking that it would basically happen like that only because Armitage would be eventually assassinated and they'd have to flee for their lives for years.
Well, now you made it depressing.
It is every time I listen to it, and they're like, maybe we'll elope, wink, 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 and I'm always like, oh, sad. Sad jokes. Unintentionally.
They wouldn't have known it.
Sad foreshadowing, I know. Sad unintentional foreshadowing.
I think, like, every single person that gets married makes elopement jokes, though.
Probably.
Like,
anyone who has to deal with their parents, probably.
Like, you're not allowed to get married unless you make at least one.
That is how it works. You're not allowed to get married unless you do that.
That's actually, like, the last signature on the marriage certificate. I
exactly.
found that on that website.
Yeah. There's a lot of rules.
Yep. A lot, just like the 3 rules.
Yeah.
One is the loneliest number. Give it a number.
Oh. I really like this episode. It's the first time I believe that Millie shows up, and
yes, it is
the episode in which Armitage appears the most, because it's his last appearance before he goes and dies.
On us.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. I mean, actually, thanks.
Thank you. He does appear post-mortem in flashbacks and stuff, but this is the last time we hear from him alive.
When does he appear in flashbacks?
So, like, the Andromeda meetings in Tom's trial.
Oh, that doesn't count.
Well, that's why I said the last time we hear from him alive.
Yeah.
It does a really good job at fully establishing what the relationship is between Eugene and Katrina and the parents and stuff, because obviously we got some of it in the turning point where Armitage is like, leave this stinky town, I don't like Eugene, and then the right choice where he's like, honestly, you know, in that episode he's like, I trust Katrina's judgment to do the right thing, and then she gets with Eugene and he's like, no, not like that. Yes.
Wait, that's not what I meant. I just realized I'm not gonna say for Armitage, like, well, he did protect them. I'm not gonna give him that, because that's like the same kind of spoilers if you haven't seen The Last Jedi. That's like people defending Kylo Ren because they're like, well, he didn't shoot Leia. He just stood by and let other Leia, and let other people shoot Leia. And it's just like, no, you're still a trash person.
He didn't actually do anything to help Eugene, I don't think.
He didn't help them, but he didn't not.
He could have made it worse, I suppose, if he'd gone along with them.
He could have helped them more, though.
Yes.
He did. All he did was die.
He could have.
It might sound horrible, but it's true. So, I'm not gonna
Very
apologize.
painfully, but quickly, at least, I guess, which was kind of merciful. Merciful and, notwithstanding the fact that he was subjected to, like, violent experimental radiation.
You know what character I miss? Arthur Dent.
He was chill.
He was.
I
good.
mean,
he was
sometimes chill.
He had not much.
He
chill
had moments
at
of
various
he had
points.
moments of minimal chill.
Yes, but we talked about him a lot once upon episodes.
Oh, so the episode, yeah, I really like like I said, we had previous establishment of like what the relationship is between Katrina's parents and Eugene. But I think this is like the fullest amount of it that we ever get. It's, a good like fully stepping forward step in Eugene and Katrina bridging that gap from we are engaged to actually moving towards the wedding, which still, never happens without, like, they never actually get to a point where they're planning on actually having the wedding. It just kind of happens by a happenstance of death and murder. The short amounts that Connie and Tom and Bernard are in this episode are hilarious. And dun, dun, dun. We really don't get a lot of post-engagement people talking about, like, other characters commenting on Eugene being engaged, really.
Yeah, and this has that whole conversation about, like, Eugene and Katrina showing PDA and stuff, too.
Exactly. Because after they get engaged, I mean, it's in that episode in Whom the Wedding Bell Told that Eugene, like, takes the survey with his friends and stuff like that. And then after that point, there's Malachi's message, and Eugene gets the job, and then he's working a bunch more at the college because
Eugene
of Armitage.
shows up a fair amount, but Katrina's usually gone.
Exactly.
And then Eugene...
And then they're
gone.
Then
Will had to go.
And then Novacom.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a pretty important, like, stepping stone in all that relationship stuff for them.
Who wrote this one again?
Paul.
I don't know about you, but I think this is my favorite of the Eugene Katrina one episode engagement episodes.
In that period?
Yeah.
The only one in that period?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's literally like they get engaged, and then there's Malachi's message, and that's it.
Malachi's message doesn't really have much, like, really focused on them. It's mostly just Eugene and
it has
Katrina.
It has
Katrina's
Eugene
like,
being
I wish you were like my dad. And Eugene's like, I'm so happy I'm not like your dad.
Yeah, I know, right? Especially after this episode, after this happens, Katrina's like, why can't you be more like Daddy? And Eugene's like, let me count the ways. No, this is a really good episode. I'm going to give it... just trying to factor in the theme for this episode. It's good. Like, the amount of, like, discipline and self-sacrifice Eugene shows when he knows he is so very much in the right, and yet he still, like, makes all efforts to preserve, like, the unity of peace, is very commendable.
Also, Katrina, too, I feel like she doesn't get enough credit for, like, her role in the episode. Because, like, it did center mostly around Eugene, but, like, it's her choice, too.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, the fact that she is related to the people who are causing all this, to, like, someone she really loves.
She's constantly trying to use her, like, Shanks privilege, I guess you would say, to, like, stand up for Eugene.
It's like, normal privilege, what Shanks privilege and white privilege are, like, tied.
Yeah, she's trying to use that to like stand up for Eugene because her voice counts way more to her parents than Eugene's does. But you know they still don't care because it's Armitage. But yeah, it's a good episode. I'm gonna give it 4.6.
I think I give it a 5. I really like this one. All
4.7.
All the reasons that I like it, we pretty much talked about several times. The number one reason I love this episode is all the dabbing. And the air horns.
And Bernard.
And just...
And Jack.
And Jack. And, well, it's always Jack and Joanne whenever they appear. But, like, Eugene, like, this is one of those episodes where you listen to him and you're like, my boy, you have come very far. I'm very proud of you. And I would like to shake your hand. Because you're doing a good job at life, I guess. But, yeah. Not really have anything else to say. Next time on the Adventures in Odyssey Oddcast.
We are doing music review time.
Yeah, of this past 2017 year of the OAC. And then
soundtrack.
If it's
OST
out, we will do the album predictions for album 65.
Yes, we have the
but
titles.
It probably won't be out by the time we do the.
We have the titles of the episodes in the album art, but we do not have like the full paragraph description for the album yet. So
we have a sentence description.
Well, we have the front of the album where it's like 6 stories on blah 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 and blah.
On family, fun, and
frivolity,
friendship.
Friends, family, and countrymen. No, if it's out by then we'll put in that episode. If not, then we'll put it out later. So
Eugene,
that'll be up in the air.
Wooten gets a mustache. Armitage ghosts come back to haunt Eugene. None of those words I said had proper anything.
Okay, so that's what we're doing next time. Talk. Until then, thank you for joining us on our side of YouTube. I've been Devin Francis, also known as Leonard Maltzner.
And yeah.
And you've been watching the Adventures in Odyssey Oddcast. Goodbye.
Bye.